Yes, I put those three ahead of Hurts as well. But I'm not necessarily as high on Hurts as some others are with it.
That's actually a really, if you're still here, Joseph, that's a really good transition. Great transition, actually. Jalen Hurts. What do you think the Jalen Hurts contract extension will look like?
So if he signs this year, he's out of the third year of his deal. And if you're through the third year of the deal at that point, you're able then to sign
Mhm.
him to the contract extension, but the money is going to be pretty high. If they wait the extra year, a la like what the Cowboys did with Dak or what the Ravens have done with Lamar, the longer you wait, the more the price is going to go up.
Mhm.
So this year, he probably makes $45 million an average per year deal going forward. He's going to ask for, I'm sure, 50, but he probably gets 45 on average. And they massage the numbers through because they can use the last year of his rookie deal, right? Because he's under technically that final
Yeah.
non-exclusive tag, so to speak. So they can use that final year, bump down the base, have the bonus money, eat up the rest of the pop, and it's not going to hit as hard on that first year of the hit. But
Mhm.
the going rate's the going rate at this point. And if it'll be an interesting case study though, because here's my opinion: if I was the Eagles, I got 2 first
Yeah.
round picks in this draft. I think there's 4 quarterbacks worthy of being taken in the top 10, right? See where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
I move for a first round pick. I package 2 of my first round picks up. I go get one of these quarterbacks. I continue to add on to this team with the other
Ooh.
first round pick. And I don't overthink this. But, like I said, desperation and laziness. It's one of those two, sometimes both, that is applied in this decision making.
Okay. Wow. I've not seen that take before. So wait, so you're saying trade him? Trade Jalen Hurts or get a quarter? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's at an all-time high. It's just like it's the same thing that happened with like the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo when we first signed him to the contract. Like it's like you could trade him right now and get a pick, but there's also that thing of, well, what if he's really a great player and we trade him and he's a generational talent and now we've just made a huge mistake. So it's like I think a lot of teams with these type of situations, it's going to happen with the Seahawks as well with Geno Smith. With these type of situations, a lot of teams are afraid of the risk that could happen. Like, what if we really miss out? What if we get rid of this person and then we draft this person and this person's way worse than the person that we got rid of? It's the same thing that happened with the 49ers and Eric. They got rid of DeForest Buckner and drafted what's his name?
Kinlaw.
Kinlaw. That has not panned out at all. They should have. So it's the afraid of risk that I think a lot of teams are just running from, kind of.
But that's my thing on this is that what they're doing in favor of that, worrying of that risk on the front end, is they're ignoring
Mhm.
all of the risk on the back end here.
Yeah.
And my argument is that it's an equivalency. Kyler Murray came up for a contract last year, and everybody now, well, they've got to give it to him. I mean, he's improved every year, and you got to give him money. You got to give it to him. Yeah, and the Cardinals themselves didn't want to give it to him. I
Right.
mean, they did not want to give it to him to the point that they put studying clauses into the damn contract. They did
Yeah.
not want to give it to him. And then they give it to him. Now he tears his ACL and they're hating that contract. The Deshaun Watson demanded on all the guaranteed money. As I say, we're at the height of the diva age. I want all the guaranteed money after all those allegations and after you trade for me. $250 million guaranteed, not a dime lost out of my pocket if I get suspended. How's that contract looking for the Browns now in
Yeah.
retrospect? That Dak Prescott deal, which the Cowboys waited and held off. Why did they wait and hold off? Why did they not sign him after year 3 like Jalen Hurts right now?
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to, because they knew he wasn't
Very
worth
good
it,
point.
because they knew he was a product of the system. The question is not a matter of whether Jalen Hurts is a generational talent. It is whether or not he's a product of his system. He has one
Yeah.
of the best offensive lines in the game. He's got a legitimate number one and at least one of the best number twos that you're going to find in the sport over on the other side. He's got an amazing tight end. He's got a defense that got 70 sacks on the season. Can another quarterback flourish in that environment? You better believe it. Should
Mhm.
I have to, is Hurts carrying that team through? No,
Yeah.
I watched the same Eagles Niner game you watched in that playoffs once Brock Purdy went down. The guy averaged
Yeah.
5 yards an attempt. What he's doing is he's Lamar Jackson like with his legs, and they lean on that with all the kitschy stuff with the legs, which by the
Mhm.
way goes away fast, right? It did for Cam, right? Cam was done by
Yeah.
30. Done by
Yeah,
30
and
with that,
Lamar Jackson even now starting to have more
right?
injuries. If they keep running him like that, yeah, the injury is going to catch up to him for sure. So,
You can't run like that. Like Wilson was a guy that always ran, but he always protected himself and got down. Those kind of cats are guys that run. Josh Allen's like this too, where they run and they don't get down and they take all these unnecessary hits, and everybody lauds how impressively tough they are, but they're
yeah.
going to get broken. And guess what? Hurts got broken this year. It's not even talk about next year this happening. It happened this year with his elbow to the
Shoulder.
point to the shoulder,
Yeah.
where he was restricted. So again, what I say is that risk on the back end. What about the risk of paying a guy $45 million,
Yeah.
inhibiting your roster in that way, missing out on the first round pick you could have gotten in return for him? And then now you don't get as far because you were scared about what if he goes on to be this? What if he goes on to be that? When he's not showing you that's what he is. He has arm limitations. Brock Purdy played great. He has arm limitations. If you can't watch the tape on Brock Purdy, I don't care about the 300 yards or everything else. If you're not watching it and saying there's some arm limitations here, it's not to say Brock doesn't have some good things, the mobility, the decision-making, the accuracy on the short stuff. It's not painting with the broad brush of saying they suck, but it's saying take into account the full totality of the player.
Yeah.
Not just the good stuff, but also what about this other stuff that may hinder them or that we have to work around a little bit? And you're going to have to work around Jalen Hurts' arm. I watched it throughout the playoffs with the Eagles. Because what happens with those arm limitations, guys, and you saw this with Garoppolo too, when it's summertime, when it's September, when it's early October and the weather's warm, they can still snap those balls off tight. You get him out into the weather,
Same
though, the elements.
Same with Allen. Yeah.
We'll get him in the elements and everything starts to arm strength dips, accuracy dips. Ball starts wobbling around there a little bit and go, boy, man, they're having a hard time getting this ball pushed up the football field. And that's what I saw from Hurts in the playoffs. He had a great game in the Super Bowl. He's not a bad player, but you can't put him in the same reservoir of Herbert. I can't get in that same point of saying he's some top 4 or 5 quarterback in the sport when he's got to me, it's the supporting cast. That dictates so much of the quarterback performance here. And if